In 1917, two young girls took a handful of photographs in their garden. The pictures showed them playing with tiny, winged fairies. Those photos would go on to fool the public, the press, and even some of the greatest minds of the age. And the full truth would not come out for more than 60 years. This is the story of the Cottingley Fairies. Welcome to Curio Hour, where we uncover the strange, the unsolved, and the unforgettable. Today's story: the Cottingley Fairies. Our story begins in the small English village of Cottingley during the First World War. There lived a 16-year-old girl named Elsie Wright and her 9-year-old cousin, Frances Griffiths, who had come to stay with the family. Behind the house ran a little stream in a wooded glen, and the two girls loved to play there for hours at a time. But the girls kept coming home with wet shoes and muddy dresses. And when they were scolded, they gave a strange explanation. They went to the stream, they said, to see the fairies. To prove it, they borrowed a camera from Elsie's father. They were gone only a short while before returning triumphant. When the photograph was developed, Elsie's father could hardly believe it. There was young Frances leaning on a bank and dancing in front of her, 4 small fairies with delicate wings. Elsie's father was sure it was a trick. Elsie was a clever, artistic girl who had worked at a photographer's shop. He suspected paper cutouts. But the girls insisted the fairies were real. And a few months later, they produced a second photo, this time of Elsie with a little winged gnome. Elsie's father dismissed it all as childish nonsense and put the pictures away. And for a time, that was the end of it. But Elsie's mother was not so sure. She had an interest in the spiritual and the unexplained. A few years later, she took the photographs to a meeting of a society devoted to such things. And from there, they began to spread. The pictures eventually reached a leading figure in the spiritualist movement, who became utterly convinced they were genuine. He had the photographs examined by experts, and remarkably, they could find no obvious sign of fakery, no strings, no evidence of tampering. And then the story reached one of the most famous men in the world, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the brilliant creator of the world's greatest fictional detective, Sherlock Holmes. One might expect the man who invented Holmes, a master of logic and cold deduction, to see through a child's trick at once. But Conan Doyle had, in his later years, become a passionate believer in spiritualism and the supernatural. And he wanted, desperately, to believe. To him, the Cottingley photographs were not a hoax. They were proof. He wrote a famous article, and later a whole book, presenting the fairy photographs to the world as genuine. The creator of Sherlock Holmes had staked his reputation on the word of 2 little girls. The effect was explosive. The photographs became a national sensation. The country split in two. Some were enchanted, eager to believe that magic was real. Others were outraged, certain it was a foolish fraud. And at the center of the storm were Elsie and Frances, 2 ordinary girls who had somehow convinced much of the world that fairies lived at the bottom of their garden. Through it all, the girls never wavered. The fairies, they said again and again, were real. As the years passed, the fuss died down. The girls grew up, married, and moved on with their lives. But they carried their secret with them. And for decade after decade, they refused to admit a thing. It was not until the 1980s, more than 60 years later, when the 2 women were elderly, that they finally told the truth. The fairies, they confessed, had been fakes all along. Elsie had drawn them, copying figures from a popular children's book, and colored them in. They had cut the fairies from cardboard, and they had propped them up in the grass, using long hat pins before snapping their photographs. It had been a simple prank by two clever girls that had gotten wildly, impossibly out of hand. They had been too embarrassed, they said, to ever admit it, especially after fooling a man as famous as Conan Doyle. But there was one final, curious twist. Even as they admitted the photos were faked, both women insisted that they really had seen fairies by that stream. And Frances maintained to the end of her life that while 4 of the photographs were fakes, the 5th and final one was completely real. 2 children, a borrowed camera, and a few paper cutouts. It should have fooled no one. Instead, it fooled a nation and one of the cleverest authors who ever lived for more than half a century. The Cottingley Fairies. A reminder that sometimes people will believe almost anything if they only want badly enough.